Right, good evening, students. So let us discuss the structured essay. So here, when it comes to the structured essay, you can see here form that the user can use, a form that the user can use to enter a complaint regarding a good or a service that he or she received is shown in figure 1.1. So what you can see in this figure 1.1 is the form that a person can see relevant to entering the data regarding any complaint. Okay, so this is relevant to the central province. You can see that. So the HTML source that was used to make the form is shown in figure 1.2. So you know what you can see in the website is the stuff that is given in the figure 1.1, and what is the how this has been created using the HTML coding that is given in figure 1.2, which is this what you see, this lengthy HTML coding. But don't worry, it's nothing. So already we have covered these things in our classes from A to Z. So it's going to be easy. So let us make a quick revision and get a good understanding of this question as well. So here you need to, with 7 blanks. So there are 7 blanks. So fill the 7 blanks of figure 1.2 to make the code complete. So that's the stuff. So let us see. So you can see the coding here. So HTML central province, those stuffs are given. So for method, they are using the method post. So there are two methods when it comes to form. One is the post method and other one is the get method. So post method, when it comes, the post method, the data is shown in the URL. So you need to understand the difference of this. Why in 2025, if a different thing is tested, then we should know how to answer for this question. So here the data is not shown. In the post method, data is not shown in the URL, the uniform resource locator. So, if it is not shown in the URL, it is more secure, right? So compared to the get method, this is more secure, more secure. And then when it comes to the get method, students, you should know here the data is visible in the URL. In the get method, data is visible in the URL. So these things I have shown you with the codings and how this stuff is taking place in our theory classes. So this is just a recap session, and the way we are trying to get the understanding on how to do these past papers and make a success attempt in 2025 upcoming exam. So here this is less secure compared to the post method. This is not secure because this is the data is visible in the URL. That is the reason. So that is the what post here, the method. And here, what should you get? Action. What should you have here? Action. Action. I can write that. Action. Action. So action is the thing that should come to this blank. So what is happening? So once the action, you can see action underscore page.php. So this tells the browser, whatever the browser is, this tells the browser where to send the post request, where you should send the post request. So that post request has been sent to this access.action page.php for the processing. So it tells the browser where to send the post request. For the server side, we receive and then process the form data. So that's happening. So what is the answer for here is action. So you can see the marking scheme as well. I'm showing that to you guys. So you can see that in our marking scheme, we can have action. See, action. Then here you can see the concern heading 3 concern label for district label. So you can see that district is there. So let us come to this district. So here you can see you can select the district. No. So what is this? So this is select. So you can go and select a particular district where that you are filling the complaint. So here district, name district. So here what should be the answer? Select. See, select. So answer should be select. So this creator, this selector creates a drop-down list students from which users can choose one or more options. Right? So that is what this select tag is. So the answer here is select. Then students, let us come. Then you have the option value can be. So these are the things that you can what do you say? The select one or more option can be Mathalin over here. These things. Then you can see there is a break. Two breaks are given here. Then what can you see here is label, type food, then city, the goods, and you have the services. So let us come to the output. You can say goods or services, and that is what? That's the radio. No, radio. So they are using that, right? So we can see the marking scheme as well, the radio. So answer for that is radio. Radio. Right? So in there, you can select whether it's a good or a service. Then here the input type is also what? Radio. Input type radio. The name name is C type, ID is good, value is good. Then again here the input type is also radio. Radio. Okay, we have discussed this. If you have forgotten, you can go to our recordings of the class students and you can watch and recap the thing. Okay. This is just I'm practicing you to answer the question at the final examination using the theory discussions. Whatever the understanding, what we have studied up to now, that's in your head. So how to apply that? That's what we are approaching here. Finally, you can see input type is what? Here, that's a submit. So this input type submit creates a submit button. So let me show how it's created. And here the value is also should be submit, because you can see students that you can see submit within this button. So this value submit is what? The text displayed on the button, inside the button. So here it should be submit. So value submit means what is displayed inside the button. Okay. So here we can say value. Sorry, submit. Here the input type submit, here it creates a button. Okay, that's the difference. Okay, fine. So we have done with that. Now here you can see the question. What happens when the user process the submit button on the form? So what happens when the user process the submit button on the form? So what will happen, students? When the user click on the submit button, what will happen? The action underscore page.php file is executed. No? So whatever this action says page.php file will be executed, right? After submitting, when it comes to a website, what you are seeing on the website is what is displayed on the screen. But the processing takes place at the PHP. So the action page file is executed. So that's the answer. So here we can see, you can write any one of the following. So you can say the action underscore page.php file or the script is executed. File is executed. Right? That's the answer for that. Then let us move forward. We have what is the benefit? What is the benefit of using input type email for the email address entry field instead of input type text? So this is a very easy question. So you know in your HTML tag you have the input type email, right? Now for this input type email without using email, but if you are using like a text, what is the benefit of using email? Then only you can authenticate whether that particular email address is right or wrong. For an example, if you have a name John only as an email, if the user is entering, is it the email address? No. So it should be verified, like whether it's a real email address, like at gmail.com. So like that. So the answer for that is, this is very easy question tested in 2024. You can see that. It will validate the email address, or else you can say it will check whether the email address is in proper form. Okay. But I think the first one you can say it will validate the email address. Right. Then next one. So first you guys pause the video and try whether you can do this. Then you come to the watching the video, okay? Because this is easy. What can you guess about the purpose of pattern 0 to 9, then 10 within the curly brackets with respect to the font entry field? So what can you say about that? Font entry field. Come on. So you can see here the font entry field. Here. Size 10, pattern 0 to 9, and within curly brackets you have 10. So this is what. What is happening here is it will check whether the input contains only 10 digits. See, size 10, only 10 digits, and also it will check whether the input contains only 0 to 9. So you can't have alphabets, no, in a phone number. So that's why we are validating that. So you can see it will check whether the input contains only 10 digits, and you can say it will check whether the input contains only 0 to 9. Okay, so that's the answer. You can write both as well, with and, without writing one. That's a better way when it comes to that particular question. And only for that, now for these things, if you can write only one is enough. That means some students misunderstand that they need to write everything. No, here if you write only one, any one of the following, one is enough. So here, what is the purpose of the use title 10, Hill Street Candy in the IMG SRC code guide? So what is that? So let me come to the HTML coding, students, and let me show that. So here, if you are using, where is that? IMG SRC. Okay, it's at the down. So IMG SRC, if you are using, they are asking this, what do you see, this title 10 Hill Street Candy. What is the advantage of that? No? So that is to display 10 Hill Street Candy when the cursor is moved over the hyperlink. So when you are moving it over the hyperlink, it will be showing that 10 Hill Street Candy. So that is the reason why you are writing that code. Okay. You need to know that as well. You can see here our marking scheme to display 10 Hill Street Candy when the cursor is moved over the hyperlink. So that's the answer. So we are done with that. Then let's move to the next one. Explain the main purpose of the HTML code extract shown in figure 1.3. So this is what the processing is taking place. So they're asking what's the main purpose. So we have done this as well. I have shown how to connect these things, how to do the PHP, and we have run a website, entering the data from the website, how it is stored in the database using MySQL coding, and how to retrieve the data from the database. We have learned everything, right? So this is just, you can see these things are nothing. You do the variables and you make the connection. So give you a recap idea. So my $con MySQLi. So this, what happens? It connects to the MySQL database using the credential. Above. So here there are some credential. Using that, it connect to the MySQL database. Then here you can see it checks the connection. And if it is failing, what will happen? Error message will get printed. Right. So what is the purpose? Here you can see select student ID, first name, last name from students. So students is going to be the table name, and the database name is going to be the student user. Sorry, not student user, student DB. Okay, student DB. Student user is username. Student DB is the database name, and the table name is STU students, right? You can see that. Then we can say that you are selecting the student ID, first name, last name. Then you run this, and then you echo the those things, right? Those things. Then what is happening? If you can't find those data, if those entries are not there in the table, what do you say? Else echo table data rows by no student found. So if there is no any matching thing, no students found will be printed. So then you can say main purpose is what, students? So it's very easy. You can say it prints the student ID, first name and last name of the records from the students table. Better to say this. Okay. Better to say you can cut. Better to say student, because this is the way it's written. So you write it as it is, table of the student DB database. How you found the database name? Here, student DB. How did you find the table name? Here. Okay, done. So that's the end of the HTML and the PHP. You can see that how easy we can answer that. So question number 2 is again an easy question. Following diagram shows the abstract model of information creation. Identify A, B, and C above. So, in any information, you have the input, then processing and output. So, A is input, B is process, C is output. Okay, so once you do that, you will be getting the marks for that. So, you can see here A is data input, or else you can say data, but better to say input. B is process, C is output or the information, right? No partial marks, so you need to write fully. A input, B process, C output. So write down the A, B, and C components of the above model for each of the following online activities. So again, an interesting question. Activity 1, so this is 2024 is, I think, the easy paper. Now you can see. Successfully logging into your favorite online bookshop to buy stationery. So then what's the input? You're logging into the online bookshop. So you need to give the user login details, no, username and password. Then the process what will happen? So the system will check whether the input valid, user validation will take place, whether your data is really there in the database. Otherwise, we can't authenticate the user, right? Then letting the user in is the output or displaying the home page of the website. So those are the things you can write. So activity 1C, input, you can say the user login details or the username and password. Process, it's the user validation or the authentication. You can simply say checking whether input is valid. Output, letting user in or display home page. You are done with that. Then activity 2, selecting the items to purchase and adding them to your shopping trolley. So then what is going to be the input? Right? So think. So then the input is going to be item, or items. So you can say items to purchase. No, items to purchase, no, see, because why? Selecting the items to purchase and adding them to the shopping trolley. So input is one. Before you are adding to the shopping trolley, you need to select the items now. So that's the input. Selecting the items to purchase. Or you can say selecting the items to purchase. Process is what? Once you select, they won't allow you to go out of the shop without paying the amount. So computing the total cost for the selected items. That is the process. Then output is the total cost. Display total cost, you need to pay. So display the total cost. So that is the input, process, output for selecting the items to purchase and adding them to your shopping trolley. Activity 3 is also another interesting thing. Successfully paying for your order using your debit card. Again, think now these are practical things. So when you are paying using debit card, what is going to be, what you are going to do first? So think, pause the video. So first you need to input the debit card information. You need to enter the number, the expiry date, and the thing. Right. So then it will process. So process is what? Now here let us read the activity carefully. You can see the activity is to done successfully paying for your order using your debit card. So paying for your order. So what is going to be the process? Do the payment process to the fund transfer for the amount that has to be paid. Or else you can say debit card validation. Debit card validation. Why? When you are giving the debit card information, it needs to check whether the number is correct. Debit card number is correct or the user is correct. So that validation taking place. Okay. Then output, confirmation of payment. Right? Showing the details relating to the payment. That is the output of that. So activity 1, 2, 3, we are done and dusted. So let's move forward. So now here, this is one of the things they have tested for 1 mark here. At a later date, after successfully logging into this system to purchase the same items of the website, same website, you decide to use the repeat previous order. Repeat previous order means what you have ordered, again you are going to order, repeat. Option given at that site. So at that particular site, that option is given. Write down any changes to your answer for activity 2 for part 2 above. So part 2 above. So what is the changes then you need to do? That means here. So you need to what? First of all, So think first of all. So first you need to last order reference. Input is what you need to get from last order. No? So last order reference is going to be the input. Process is what? To get items of previous order and compute total cost for the selected items. Now you have the things, the items that you ordered. So for that you compute the total cost. Output, display item details with total cost. Very easy because the repeat purchase, same thing happened. The simple thing has been tested for 1 month. Next, open source software requires the users to be technically skilled in setting up and configuring them. Okay. Briefly explain how the setting up and configuration are usually done in proprietary software. Yes, now when it comes to the proprietary software, it is not complicated as open source software. Why? Because like they provide you with access to everything, isn't it? So, that's a paid version. So, definitely vendor must provide the setting up and configuration support. So it's not complicated like the open source software. Next one, while information and communication technology allows us to create and disseminate our intellectual ideas in more efficient and impactful ways. So, really it helps us. It also contributes to a high level of plagiarism. So that is also an opposite thing that is taking place. That and traditional non-ICT methods. Okay. Briefly explain the reason for this observation. Right. So why this higher level of plagiarism is taking place than in traditional non-ICT methods. So that is because, today you have this plagiarism removal tools. So that is one of the observation. And with ICT, it is easy to modify. You can say it is easy to modify information and publish others' material as one song. Oh, you can get someone's creation and do some modification, or else you can get it and you publish as your own. So that is why these things are happening. So you can write these two observations. And today plagiarism removal tools also come. That's why this has increased. Okay, so you write those answers. Next, some argue that the increasing use of information and communication technology has an indirect contributor to global warming. Yes, even I, because today many electronic devices are manufacturing, so definitely. Briefly explain a major reason for this view. So what do you think? So we can say, as I mentioned, the ICT sector has a high energy demand. Production of electronic devices and their use requires energy. Isn't it? Most energy productions in the world still uses in carbon dioxide emissions. Yes, they don't go for this. They don't try to eliminate. Still, most of the organizations do the same thing. So adding to global warming, therefore there is a significant contribution of ICT to global warming, right? So now you need to think how to overcome them, right? How to minimize them. That can be tested in 2025. So get ready for that, right? It could be tested. So see, you browse an online product catalog in an e-commerce website, looking for a product purchase. Looking for a product purchase, and the website collects your product browsing history without obtaining your consent. Now here, that's the issue. If they are obtaining your consent, then okay, because you click allow and accept and all those stuff. But here, that's not happening. So what is the security related concern that you face in this situation? So, they are not valuing your privacy, So what's the situation? Privacy, violation or breach. Collected data could be used for targeted advertising given to third parties. So simply it's a privacy violation, the breach. Say privacy violation. 1 mark, that is enough. Fill in the 2 blanks of the following statement. In a reverse auction, so you know what is reverse auction, students? We have learned the e-commerce lesson. So if you have forgotten, it's the ideal time for you to revise those things. Okay. The reverse auction from sellers and buyers. Here, who is going to bid? Normally buyers are bidding in normal auction, but in reverse auction in e-commerce, sellers do the bidding and usually the lowest bid wins. So that's the advantage of e-commerce. Sellers and lowest bidder wins. Okay, that's the answer. Lowest bid wins. Right, done. Here, an interesting question is tested. Draw a flowchart to input the name of a text file. right? You need to draw a flow chart to input the name of a text file and to count and print the number of words in that file. So you need to count and print the number of words in that particular file. So counting the number of words. So that's the ideal purpose, the main purpose of this program or the flowchart that you are trying to draw. Assume that the file exists in the computer. Otherwise, if you think the file is not there, how can I do those things? File is there. So you need to assume, assumption made. Hint, go on reading each character in the file. Hint also they have given. Go on reading each character on the file. Stop when EOF, end of file character is encountered. So when you see when it reads the end of file character is encountered, it should stop and print the number of words. So it's an easy stuff. So you can draw. So first, we need to start. So start. Then count and the invert, right? Count is 0 initially before count, starting the count is 0. No, so count, you have a variable, count assignment 0, invert assignment 0. Invert is a variable, 0 is assigned. So these are the process. Then you're going to input the file name. You get the file name. No, there can be many files. No, so you get the particular file name. Then you open the file. Then read the character of the file. Read the character of the file. Then you check whether it is the end of file character. So yes means what? Yes means print the count. End of file means imagine there is a file without anything and you have only the end of EOF character. Then you print the count. What is the count? 0. If anything is not there in the file, 0, no, so 0 will be printed. But imagine the first character is not the EOF. Then you see whether there is a space or new line. Because space or new line, we can't take that for the word count, right? So that's the main purpose of this. So if we are checking whether there is a space or a new line. If there is space or new line, we don't make any increment to the invert. So it's going to be 0. No. No means we are checking whether the invert is equal to 0. Invert is equal to 0. Yes means what? We are going to increment that invert by 1. Invert equal 1. Then count assignment count plus 1. Then it's going up. If invert is assignment is not 0, then we go up without making any invert as 1, or we are not without making any count, incrementing any count, right? So the logic here is if there is a word only, you take that to the count. You increment the count by 1. Okay. So that's the logic that has been tested. So finally, all the characters will be, the words will be getting printed, getting counted, and the count of them will get printed, right? So this is one option, and finally you need to draw the stop. That's the answer, student. Or else you have an alternative answer is wrong. So better to refer this, okay? Or process simple, also acceptable. So you can draw this way, okay? Fine. So that is for 3 marks. So here write down the output of the following Python code. You need to write the output of this following Python code. So let us see here. If so here this is a function def check values n. So here you can say out check values 12. So 12 will be coming here to the n. Result assignment 12. So here 12 will be coming. 12 will be coming. Right? Return result 12 will be coming. For I in range 1 comma n plus 1. N plus 1 means 13. So what is the sole purpose of having 13 here? Then only it will be going up to 12 because 1 comma 12 means it will be going only from 1 to 11. So in order to go from 1 to 12, only we are making this increment by 1, 30. So if I divided by 2 is equal to 0 and I divided by 3 is equal to 0, result dot append I. That means you are going to take that to the output, right? So if you take, so here, we'll be having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So, 1 divided by 2 is not equal to not equal to 0, 2 also not equal to 0, 3 also not equal to 0. That means what's the purpose? From 1 to 12, you have the numbers. First of all, dear students, find out the purpose of the problem. Then it's very easy for you to write the answer. So here, once you divide the number by 2, answer should be equal to 0. And once you divide it by 3, then also answer should be 0. Then what are the two possible answers? Only 6 and 12. Only 6 and 12. So that should be printed as output. See here, 6, 12. So that will be printed. So that's the same. Here see print output. So here our return results, so output, print output. This will be the answer. Within square brackets, right? 6, 12. Okay, done. Here another interesting question is given, students. Fill the first blanks. So there are some blanks. So you need to fill the 5 blanks. 5 blanks of the following Python code, which has been written to find the prime number from 2 up to a given number. Up to a given number, it could be any number, 1000, 10, 5, any number, but up to a given number, you need to find the prime number. So they have given a note to say what's a prime number. Prime number is any whole number greater than 1. So you can't take 1 greater than 1. That is divisible only by 1 and itself. Prime numbers from 2. So you need to give the prime numbers 2 for an example, 2 up to number 5. Yes, they have given also. If you take the prime numbers from 2 to 5, they are 2, 3, 5. So see how the examiner has helped you. So now you need to just fill in the blank. So upper input, enter, end of range. So you need to first of all convert the data to the integer form. No? So int, integer. That's the first fill in the blank. So if upper is greater than 1, upper is a variable. If it is greater than 1, then we are going to the loop. Why? Then only we are going to the loop. Why? Greater than 1. That's why you have this greater than 1. Then we say print prime numbers 2 and upper R. Upper R, then we are going to print the prime numbers. Let us see. Don't worry. Imagine we have given 5 here. Imagine we have given 5 here. I am explaining with the logic. The number, the user has entered the number as 5 for an example. So for num variable in range 2, 2, you should say what? 2, students, you should say upper plus 1. Why upper plus 1 I am saying? Because 5 means, is 5 a prime number? Yes, 5 also we should consider. No. But if you say just upper, you know that it will be going 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 won't be considered. You know, that's the way the for loop works. So that's why we are saying upper plus 1. So this one also enough we have discussed in our classes. That's why we say upper plus 1. Then what will happen here? Then here it will happen 2, 2, you know, upper is 5. Inside the variable upper we have 5. 5 plus 1 is going to be 6. 6, 2, 6. So then 2, 6 means it will go 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 won't come. Then for I in range 2, num. Now here you don't say num plus 1. I will say the reason. Don't worry. 2, num. So 2, num. Then we are saying if num divided by I, if num divided, that means that if num divided by I and if the remainder is equal to 0, then we break. Else we will be print the sum. So this is the answer. Let me hand trace and show how this logic works. Otherwise, you don't understand this. Okay. So here let me have the num. Here let me have I. Here whether I will say whether it's divisible or not. Then here the prime, whether it's a prime number or not a prime number. Then the output. So listen carefully, students. So up to now we have num 2, 6. Now for num in range, first number was 2. So 2 will be coming here. Then for I in range 2, num. So 2, num is what now? 2, no? Because we have taken the first number. Now here numbers are 2, 3, 4, 5. numbers are there, okay? You know that. 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 is not there. 6 won't be considered. So here 2, 5 in range 2, number is what? First number is what? 2. Look here 2. That's why here 2, 2. 2, 2. Now 2, 2 is what? It's none, guys, because see 2, 2, it's none because you see when the same the values it's there, it's none. So I is going to be none. None. Starting also 2, ending also 2 means we don't say that's none. So is it divisible? So num, now we know num is num 2, 2 is none. No, is none is divisible by I. Sorry, num is 2 divisible by none. No. So no divisible. Not divisible. Not divisible. If divisible means break, we come out. We come out. But here it's not divisible. Not divisible. Not divisible means what? It will come to the else, then print num. So num will become print. So yes, it's a prime. Yes, it's prime. So 2 will get printed. 2 will get printed. Print num, so 2 will get printed. Okay, then next one. So here 2 is done. Next number is what? 3. We are coming to 3. So 3. So then for I in range here 2, now here it will be 3 students. 2, 3. Why? After 2 here 3, 2, 3. So 2, 3 means it I can go up to only to 2, no? Up to 2. So now the I is going to be 2. I is going to be 2. Now we are going to check whether num is what? Whether 3 divided by 2 is the remainder is equal to 0. Is the remainder equal to 0? No. No means do you break? No. So no, as a result, it will come to the else, then print num. Print num means here also 3 will be printed because you know 2 is a prime number, 3 is a prime number. We are printing. So here after 2 and 3, dear students, you have 4 in the list. I am speaking this num upper plus 1, 4. 4. So now that 4 will be assigned here 2, then here num is going to be 4. 2, 4. Now 4. So 2, 4 means students, what will you have? 2, 4 means you will have 2, 3, no? Isn't it? You will be having 2, 3 because it won't go up to 4, no? It will always reduce 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's the logic. 2, 3. Then num is what? Num is 3. So we are going to check. Sorry. Num, now we took what? Num 4. Then we have the I as 2. So what's the first I? 2. Let's see whether the first I is satisfying. If first I is satisfying, no need to test for 3. Got it? So 2, whether we are going to check 4 divided by 2. Is it divisible? It's also not divisible. Not divisible means will it break? No. It's a prime number. Sorry. Wait, sorry. 4 divided by 2. 4, num is 4. 4 divided by 2. So 4 divided by 2, you know, the remainder is 0, students. The remainder is 0. If the remainder is 0, break. Break. So break. So you don't have nothing to do. So then, is it a prime number? No, it's not a prime number. So nothing will get printed. Nothing will get printed. Understood? Yes, 4 is not a prime number. No, so that's why it's not getting printed. Very easy. Now, if I write the code, that's enough. I am explaining the logic as well. Okay, students. So after 4, what's the last number you have? 5. 5. Then what will happen? Here 5 will come. For num we have 5. For num we have 5. Then for I, you know, 2, then 2, what? 5. 2, 5. 2, 5 means it will going up to 2, 3, 4. Will 5 come? No, 5 won't come. No, 5 won't come. You know the reason. Then you know, first we will take 2. First we will take 2, right? 2. So is 5 divided by 2, is the remainder equal to 0? Is the 5 divided by 2, is the remainder is equal to 0? No, no. Then it will go up and go to the inner loop again and it will take the next number, 3. 3. Now we are going to check whether 5 divided by 3, is it equal to 0? No. No. Then we are going to the next one. Yes means it will break and come out. It will go no, still no. Next we have 4. 4. So is 5 divided by 4. Now I is 4. Is 5 divided by 4. Now I is 4 and not 2. Is I divided by 4 equal to 0? 5 divided by 4 equal to 0? No. No. After that, do you have anything, students? No. Then what? Break. Sorry. Then will you break? No, it's not breaking. It's not breaking. If it is equal to 0, no, it will be breaking. Here, 5 divided by 4 is not equal to 0. So it's not breaking. So it will come to else print num. So 5 will be print. Correct? Now 5 is a prime number. Now here, understand why I didn't mention num plus 1. If I have mentioned num plus 1, my dear students, here 5 would also have come. 5 would also have come. Then what will happen? This 5, for I 5 will come, then 5 divided by 5 is equal to 0. Then break, nothing won't get printed. But 5 is a prime number, it must get printed no. That is why I didn't have num plus 1. I had just num. Got it? So that's the reason. That's the reason. So here you have the answers. You have the answers. Because if you have num plus 1, because a prime number will never get printed if you do like that. That's why I haven't used like that. Okay, I have given the answer. Right, done and dusted.